everything was a motherfucking banger. And I'm including the ass whooping the Cowboys put on the Bucks.
Because we enjoyed every minute of it. Josh Allen's in his bag, unstoppable. When he's not in his bag, he's another form of Carson Wentz.
You know what's the best way to celebrate the third biggest comeback in history, in playoff history?
What is it?
Triple Waffle House.
Fuck it, let them in, passing out the medicines. We've been on that rock star regimen, knowing that I'm heaven sent, higher than I ever been.
What's going on? Welcome to Totally Blitz Podcast. We're recapping the divisional round of the fucking playoffs, and it was a wild one. These are your first off, go down, like, and subscribe. Drop your comment of your favorite bet that you hit on. Drop a comment of the craziest shit you saw. If you're a Giants fan, let us know. Talk your shit. But these are your hosts. I'm Paul Pickle, and I'm joined with.
Hey man, you already know it's that boy Kev. Water boy, support man. Hey, Paul ain't gonna tell you, man, but hey, we definitely had to shoot this bitch an hour and 20 minutes late because my stupid ass fell asleep watching Euphoria and shit.
You're not even caught up yet, boys.
Not even caught up, kid. I ain't gonna lie. I'm at the part where they just hit the nigga with the he just hit the nigga with the water bottle. Like, no, he hit the nigga with the alcohol bottle and beat the shit out of him. Yeah, that's why I had to watch the next episode, and that next episode put me out. But you know what should have put me out? What couldn't put me out? These motherfucking games this week. Besides for the 49ers and Seahawks, everything was a motherfucking banger. And I'm including the ass whooping the Cowboys put on the Bucks.
Because we enjoyed every minute of it.
Every second. Hey, even with the kicker missing, that's sorry ass nigga. I ain't never seen nobody miss that many extra points before.
Shit, well, before we kick it off, we got to run through the records. Let me put my little blunt out. Me and Kev both went 5-1. I missed on the Dolphins. He missed on the Vikings. So we tied. Then I went 1-0 on locks. Kev went 0-1. He locked up the Vikings. I locked up the Cowboys. And then we both went 1-0 on our dogs. He had Jaggies. We had Giants. But collectively, I think we both picked both the dogs this week. And then let's get to the bets. This is why a lot of people are here. You want to make some money? I'm giving you money, free money. 6-1 on my props. Over 16.5 carries for ETN. It didn't matter. They're down 27-0. The source was confirmed in that game because if he got 20 carries down by that many points, he definitely was going to get 20 carries if the game would have been closer throughout the game. And then Jones over 240 passing yards against Vikings, cash it. CMC over 73.5 rushing yards. His first run was 68 yards. I was like, oh, thank you. And Diggs over 6.5 receptions. I could have swore like end of the first quarter he had 5. And then Jeff Wilson anytime touchdown scorer at plus 120. And that one was shaky for the Dolphins, but he eventually found the green grass. CMC touchdown minus 150. Never a doubt he's a magnet for the touchdowns. And in these I didn't give out, but I did give out to select people in my inner circle. But CMC to lead all rushers over the weekend, plus 350. Cashed it. 49ers to have the most points in the weekend. The 5th biggest odds. I mean, 4 teams have better odds than the 49ers. Plus 650. Cashed it. Dak to have over 300 passing yards, plus 325, cashed it.
Oh, my boy made bread this weekend.
This is a great playoff betting has been nice. Oh, and then the teaser that I gave out, Giants plus 9, keep the points. Bengals minus 3.5, that was shaky. 49ers minus 4 was never in doubt. So, I mean, cash that as well. It was a hot hand going into playoffs.
Yeah, my boy hit the parlay. Not parlay part 2. Hey, Bella. So holla at Paul. That boy might have some fresh toys for you. But nah, good week of betting, man. Good weekend of bets.
But now let's get into these games. Do you want to start Saturday? We can work backwards. We can work forward. Where do you want to start?
I think we're good. Wherever you want to start from, motherfucking. I would say start backwards, but like they had some hidden ass games on Sunday, so I don't know if I want to talk about them bitches first.
All right. Well, we just go through Saturday. The first game was a blowout, be the quickest one. I mean, 49ers beat the brakes off the Seahawks. It was close at halftime, but second half, they made some changes. Shanahan made some changes, locked up Geno, locked up the run game. Kenneth Walker is nowhere to be found. But Brock Purdy, People were doubting a rookie quarterback in the playoffs. You can say it's the system, you say whatever you want, but this motherfucker, he started rough and shook that shit off and overcame it and looked phenomenal to finish the game. So I was like, this guy, this is a fucking NFL baller right here.
Nah, dead ass motherfucking put in that fucking work. The shots that he was hitting is crazy. Hitting Debo. Debo went crazy this game. Motherfucking, they beat the shit out of them boys, and defensively they looked unstoppable.
Yeah, and like CMC scoring multiple touchdowns again. Who's stopping this team? Is it gonna be 49ers Eagles? Is that what we're all waiting for at this point?
Nah, no cap. That's what we want to see, man. Because boy, there's no team that can keep up with this team playing like they are offense. And then even Kyle Shanahan saying like, "Yo, Jimmy G was healthy right now. I'd still start Brock Purdy." What you talking about?
332 yards, like he like 3 touchdowns, only took 1 sack. And this is like he had 2 or 3 passes where he did overthrow it, underthrow it. Like he didn't look too good. Like if he would have came out crisp early, got the nerves out before the game, he probably would have put up 400 yards because like those are some deep shots that he missed that were open. Where like this is a scary team. CMC, Debo running the rocks. Like I don't know. Elijah Mitchell. I know he didn't do much this game, but he was damn near 1,000-yard carry, 1,000 yard last year kind of guy. Still young, and we're not even talking about the defense yet. So 8-1 at home. That home field advantage is big. They have a number 2 seed, so when they play the Cowboys next week, they will be at home.
But they finna fucking Cowboys up. I'm not gonna lie to you. But Brock Purdy is looking awesome. His whole family's in the crowd going crazy. The Seahawks, I think they had a good run, and I think in the beginning they tried. Like this game wasn't a blowout immediately. Like they really tried to keep this bitch close, and they tried to play their asses off. Gino just you can't do much. You can't do much against a team like this. That's just the best way to explain it. They're coached well, they play well, and they're bought in, and they play. They bought into everything. Feels like they bought into the system, and they play so cohesively. It doesn't matter.
And Purdy is not throwing interceptions. Like if he was kind of shaky throwing interceptions here and there, like that's the difference between him and other young quarterbacks. I feel like, whereas other young quarterbacks are throwing interceptions early in their career, he just came in and like hasn't thrown any or probably just one all season. I don't know. Like I don't have his stats in front of me, but I just know he's been playing perfect ball.
Nice. Yeah, he's doing this thing, man. He's making the most of his opportunity. Like, when's the last time somebody said Trey Lance?
That's what I was gonna say next. Was like, if I'm them, I'm keeping Purdy over Lance next season. Like, I just putting up 40 points in the playoffs. Like, just not batting an eye. Why look back?
Is this a new Steve Young?
He could be. I mean, Trey Lance ain't no Joe Montana, but like Jimmy G's contract was gone. We weren't too sure on Trey Lance. Like, how did they almost lost to they lost to the Bears? I know it was a monsoon, but one of the Bears with 3 wins was against, and this is before Justin Fields was running the ball. Like
they lost to the Falcons.
Like so, with Purdy in, he just seems like a guy. But our next Saturday game, this was the crazy game. Jaguars beating the Chargers 31-30. At one point, it was 27-0. 4 interceptions to start the game on 4 drives for Trevor Lawrence. Like, and yet they found a way. Doug P got this game going in the second half, locked up the Chargers, got the run game. They never abandoned the run game at all throughout this whole game. They kept running the ball. It kept working. Trevor Lawrence cleaned it up in the second half, and I don't know how he hasn't grown on you yet, Kev. Like, the amount of dog that I feel like he's shown throughout the season, and then the fucking what is it, the second or third biggest comeback in playoff history we just witnessed on Saturday night.
I think it just looks good right now because don't get me wrong, we both picked the Jaguars. We're both on the Jaguars as a dog. Thanks, shout out to Tip. But it looks good right now because they snuck in and got that win. Like the Chargers, like. You throw 4 interceptions against any other team in the playoffs, I don't see you winning right now. Like, but they did it against the Chargers, and the Chargers fucking choked. I mean, the Chargers looked great early. Austin Eckler looked unstoppable. The defense looked fucking good. Asante Samuel Jr. got 3 of the picks by his damn self. Like, they were staying active and they were staying a problem. But like you said, the Jaguars stuck to their game plan. They never doubted, and Doug P really kept them boys in the locker room. And they looked like they were getting frustrated throwing all those picks. But Doug P had to have said something to them boys at halftime to change the entire outcome of the season, because this game was over. But they put in the work, and Brandon, and like it came down to what our takes. Like, who do you trust more as coaching, Brandon Staley or Doug P?
I'd rather have Doug P down by 27 and Brandon Staley up by 27.
Which is insane, because what is that, like the third? You said it's the third largest comeback?
I think it's the third. It could be the second, but I believe it's the third largest comeback. And the interceptions he did throw, okay, the third one for sure is his fault. The fourth one's his fault. The first one was a tipped up ball that got deflected at the line. All right.
Oh, that was the first one?
The first one was the deflected one that popped up. And then the second one was I think he threw to Zay Jones, and Asante Samuel and him are basically like a jump ball on a curl route. And Zay Jones went to jump for the ball. Maybe he got pulled down. I never saw the replay on if Asante pulled, but like he never jumped up. So Asante Samuel had an easy catch because he jumped by himself. Maybe he some people use the shoulders to jump up, keep the other guy down. I didn't see the replay, so I'm not sure if he did it, but that was the first Asante Samuel interception. And like it still was a good thrown ball. So the first two I don't put on Trevor. The third and fourth I definitely do. It was just like he throws a slant route. He doesn't see the guy cutting the safety coming up and like reading it. Derwin James gets it, and then Asante Samuel But also those last two ones, they were in. I think the second one as well. They were in Charger territory. Two of them they could have kicked the field goal. They chose not to, and then the other one they were down by 20, so they were like, "Fuck it, let's already go for it." And but they were moving the ball. That was just the point I was trying to make. They were moving the ball prior to it. And then I even in the group chat, people were shitting on Jaguars. I was like, Jaguars still finna win. And this was not at 27-0, but this was right after Trevor Lawrence threw the touchdown to end halftime to Evan Ingram. And I was like, Jags aren't out of it. 3 score ball game, second half. I seen this story before with the Chargers. Was I talking a little bit out of my ass? Probably was. But I did not lose faith because the Jaguars, they were moving the ball, they were doing this shit, and the second half they just kept doing what they're doing, minus the turnovers. And special teams, big returns.
And you know what's the best way to celebrate the third biggest comeback in history, in playoff history?
What is it?
Trevor Waffle House. The boys was vibing. I seen a couple videos. Trevor Lawrence is funny as fuck. He posted a meme talking about something. I ain't gonna lie, they had this in the first half. and then
how can you not enjoy him, right?
And then I was watching him and I'm just looking like, yo, this is a regular ass dude. Like this motherfucker is like somebody I would, especially being in college, somebody I would see on if I was at UF on campus. So I'm just there thinking like, oh man, still not my dog though.
Do you know my dad's buddy in Georgia that his grandfather won the Kentucky Derby twice?
Oh wow.
Okay, I feel like I told you him before, but yeah, he has all his money. He sits on it. He owns all his land in Cartersville, Georgia, where Trevor Lawrence is from Cartersville, Georgia. And this guy, a famous comedian has died recently. I can't remember his name. He was a gay comedian, older gentleman, super famous. He used to be a jockey for him on his horses, and then he went on to Hollywood. Became an actor. He's like, I'm gonna go, and they're still friends to the day he up to his died. He was actually at his funeral. And then a lead singer of a big 90s band slept on his couch because he's just a super cool, nice guy. Loves the party. And you know who else he rubbed shoulders with? And that's also why I kind of fuck with dude now.
Who?
Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence out of Cartersville, Georgia, the same city he's at. Cartersville was a small city. Instead of leaving to all the big schools in Georgia for football, private schools, he stayed in Cartersville, kept them undefeated, won championships every year in the state, and took that small school and put it on the map type shit. And every year, that boy Billy would have concerts and stuff on his land for free Cartersville concerts. Trevor Lawrence would be at all of them. He has Trevor Lawrence signed jerseys. He had he's close with the family. So ever since then, I was like, okay, let me give this guy a shot, and he's kind of proved to me oh, this guy's a dog, and and ever since then they've been winning. So I'm just damn, kind of got to root for dog now.
I got respect for him. I'm a root for the Jaggies every time, but you got to prove it to me. You know me. You got to prove, son.
Hey, they got the Chiefs next week, and the Chiefs they have the week off, so you never know how teams look coming out of bye.
These are facts.
And we saw the Cowboys throw 4 interceptions before the playoff game. How likely is it for the Jags to have back-to-back games where 4 interceptions happens? If they have a perfect game against the Chiefs, I mean, shit. We'll talk about that in the next game here, because that's what happened here. The Bills beat the Dolphins 34-31, but it's the playoffs. This was a 14-point spread. Anything can happen. Kev, I was this close to seeing you. I said 3 o'clock, but this game ran for 3 hours. So it was really 5 o'clock when the game ended. But
no cap, I swear this game was damn, this game is I thought the next game was supposed to start at 4:15.
They delayed the Vikings game because how long this game took, and I loved every second. We were at one point we were down 17-0. But what Josh Allen, we've been saying it all season, he loves to do Josh Allen things. When Josh Allen's in his bag, unstoppable. When he's not in his bag, he's another form of Carson Wentz. And he threw one over the top. Oh, give me that. Oh, who took that boy right there? Then another one, and he kept us in the game. And then the fumble, that fumble I can understand. He's probably trying to go down, but the ball gets slipped. Pick it up, give us that touchdown. We're back in the game, 17-17. And all I can say is if Tua or Teddy would have played, I like my odds a lot better. If Tua would have been healthy for playoffs, I think we go on a big run here. We were in this, our defense, who I've been shitting on all season, was the reason why we were in this game. And the only thing that held us back was just the lack of offense. And I can't even put it on Skyler, because Waddle had over 100 yards of drops. 3 drops. It was 100 and something yards and drops. And Tyreek Hill had a few drops. So Skyler did his best, but at the end of the day, it's a third-string rookie quarterback. Feel a lot better with the season ending. The Bills, I think they might get bounced next week. That's how I felt walking out of this game. Is if the Skyler Thompson and them boys could keep it this close, Joe Burrow and them boys next week are a little bit more dangerous than Skyler Thompson is.
You would think that, right? I would agree with you until Sunday night, until I saw what we'll talk that game later. But until I seen Huntley versus them boys, I really thought the same exact thing.
I know I can see that, because the Bills definitely came out flat.
Yeah, so motherfucking the Bills, I think they just hit their shots early. They hit the deep shot to Stephon Diggs. They just were hitting their shots early. They looked good early. They got the touchdown to Dawson Knox. But once your team adjusted, and I feel like Mike McDaniels is not getting the fucking acknowledgement he deserved because of the losing streak. Just because this team was good last year. This team was won games last year, but they weren't actually good for real. The way that you guys adjusted to the Bills and kind of put them on the ropes. You were stopping them, taking them to 3 and outs all second half.
Thank you. People aren't respecting the fact that them boys were not converting on third downs in that second half.
Not at all. I want to say there's a stat Skyler Thompson was 3 for 13. Somebody was 3 for 13 on third down.
That was probably Skyler.
But and I'm just looking at your offense damn, this is the same thing that happened last game. It was yo, y'all gotta go. There's one, y'all gotta go. And you guys just didn't have that engine. I mean, Tyreek Hill did what he could do. If Jalen Waddle caught the balls, the Totally Blitz tweet says, would have been all good. But this team you guys were winning at one point. It was 24-20, and I was oh shit, this game could go any way right now. Shout out to our boys for finishing the season strong as fuck. And Tua comes back healthy next season. If he stays healthy, it's a wrap.
And the biggest thing I think that needs to be, as long as from the inside voices, it's confirmed, it's already been confirmed from everywhere I've seen that has Miami Dolphins sources and not just like Warren Sharp's opinion or someone's like Florio's opinion, but actual inside voices are talking about it. Everyone's like, yeah, Tua will be our starter for next year, 100. Because some people are trying to make the Tom Brady to the Dolphins storyline work because and if Sean Payton comes and replaces McDaniel, but everything is like pointing to McDaniel and Tua is the future. And how can you not say that otherwise? Like watching this game, like our offense was so stagnant. I just was like, I'm not saying we would have won the game with Tua. I'm just saying like there's no way that like we're sitting here in the same position. Like there were so many drives, like you said, 3-13 on third downs. You know who was the best on third downs percentage in all of NFL throughout the season? Tua. So I'm not saying Tua is gonna be 13-13 on third downs, but he's gonna do better than 3 of 13. Like it just we would have had a better QB, and I think we probably would have pulled this game out. I'm not mad that we ended our season this way. The injuries are motherfucker. My biggest thing looking forward is Tua gonna be healthy for a season? Because he could be in the same boat as Lamar Jackson, where it's just like I love him as a player, but you're just not healthy.
That's so real, so real. But this game was good. I loved watching this game. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Then let's get into the next game. Vikings losing at home to the Giants, 31-24. Giants were the underdog here. I tried to get you on my side, Kev. You didn't want. You were talking all about that chain gang.
I owe you a shot. Shoot, hold on. Let me go pour up my shot. We did better shot.
And you did point out that the Giants did dump the Gatorade, and for whatever reason, I feel like the Gatorade bets have not been hitting as much as they have in the past.
Last season they hit every time.
This season, I feel like we're batting like 1 or 4 on like the Gatorade dumps.
We gotta make a new. We gotta find a new insight because that Gatorade used to. Dang, I don't know where my shot glass is at.
And the Giants get their first playoff win in 11 years. I mean, Danny Dimes was running up and down the field like 78 yards. Daniel Jones, fucking 300 yards. Like he was a dude. But if this was the only game you've ever got to see of Daniel Jones's career, you would be sitting here talking about how come the Giants are giving this motherfucker a max contract right now.
Dead ass.
Kirk Cousins, I mean, I can't even put the blame on him. Like they all got let up 31 points and lost, and this is exactly what I've been saying all year. Daniel Jones put up 300 yards. I told y'all to hammer the passing over yards. This was never in doubt. Like the Isaiah Hodgins had 105 yards on y'all. Darius Slayton had 88 yards on y'all. He almost had more. He literally dropped the touchdown that would have sealed it. Until the Vikings can fix that defense, y'all can have great seasons and like look at like we've been cooking. Justin Jefferson almost broke the record, but like this is football is still football. There's still two sides of the ball. And like Kirk Cousins came like 31-39, 273 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The first drive, he was like 7 of 7 for 60-something yards, touchdown on the QB sneak.
So I look at this game pretty interestingly. Motherfucking Dayball, he's a dude and coach. I was talking shit. Because I feel like when it got to the second half and it was 24-24 and this game could have went either way, he stuck to the game plan. He told Daniel Jones to cook. Even Saquon was getting it in, scoring touchdowns and shit. And this team made sure that his team was converting on third downs all game. So fuck the Trevor Lawrence. Chuck the Trevor Lawrence over on rushing. Motherfucker. Niggas should have took the Daniel Jones over on rushing. Like his first play, I was thinking like, damn, this offense is gonna take off. The first play he ran, I was like, dang, I wish we had bet on him. Because if this shit was like 30 something, we would have probably still cashed. So
it's funny you say that. Lawrence was the only one that I missed. The only missed prop was the Trevor Lawrence prop.
That shit is crazy because because the boys was losing. So I respect the fuck out of this Giants team. I mean, that catch Isaiah Hodgins had on the sideline, that shit was insane. This game was just hurtful. Like, I'm gonna take my shot. Like, I'm taking my shot. It was.
See, this game was perfect for me because the Giants scored 31. Their offense, Daniel Jones cooked both sides of the ball. Saquon, 9 carries of 53 yards, 2 touchdowns. Everyone's talking about Saquon's back. This will be I don't know what the line is for next week, but it's time to fade the Giant because I feel like next week the line's going to be a lot closer because there's going to be a lot of people like, oh, did you not see the Giants has upset the Vikings? They like, remember Eli Manning? Remember the run they had? Like this team, Brian DeBall. And like, it is the perfect because people, the casuals aren't looking at like the Vikings are 13-4. They think they're a dominant team this year. They're not looking at the fact that they have the worst pass defense in the NFL, like one of the worst defenses overall, where teams like this should be able to shine, and they shined like a motherfucker. Whereas next week they're gonna play the Eagles. They're not gonna be able to do that against Bradbury, Slay, and CJ Johnson Gardner, who's healthy again. Like the defense as a whole, Robert Williams came back. Like they're Lane Johnson is healthy now again at left tackle. Like the Giants, they look better, and like Justin Jefferson, 7 catches of 47 yards. He had Adoree Jackson on him. Adoree Jackson was hurt for some of the year. He's back now. He's been locking people up. So maybe AJ Brown doesn't have the best of games. Maybe it's time to ride Devontae Smith next week. But I'm guaranteeing you that the Giants are gonna get smacked. Like if the spread is under 7, take the Eagles because the Giants are a perfect team. They win up. This is the perfect scenario. A team that cannot play defense with the Giants. They look good. Next week they're gonna play a team that can play defense, and people are gonna be betting them.
Hey man, the Vikings. My biggest takeaway is that the Vikings were 11-0 in this game, come in 1-score games. They're now 11-1. You can't trust the motherfuckers that play close every game. I thought because the difference between this Vikings team and the last Vikings team was that they were winning all those close games. Now I'm understanding that you can't trust a team that plays it close. You can't trust it. So I'll take my shot, man. Hey, shout out anybody who's taking the shot with me, man. But,
I gotta drink with you, Kev.
Respect to the coach of the year, Brian Daboll.
I still think it's Doug P. But Brian Daboll is the only other one I'm okay with if you take him over him. I'm not okay if you take Sirianni or Shanahan. But those, I think, it's Daboll and P. Next game, the Bengals in a nail biter against the Ravens. They beat them 24-17. And I mean, the play of the game was Sam Hubbard's 98 fumble recovery touchdown for them boys to take the lead, I believe, and then kind of securely set. Like the Ravens are this close to taking the lead and probably winning it, and the Bengals, they just seem like a team where they're destined because last year they were doing shit like this, and this year they're doing it again. Where it's just like Joe Burrow was getting sacked like 9 times a game, and they were still finding a way to win. Like it's just like. I don't know how you can never bet against the Bengals anymore.
Yeah, it's tough to bet against the Bengals because it's crazy. I mean, I'm gonna do it next week against the Bills, but the Bengals team is awesome, man. Like this game was way closer than. First off, shout out the Ravens. John Harbaugh came through, coached well. Huntley did what he could do, and his offense put up numbers. They put up 30 points.
17. It was 17-24. But, I mean, Huntley, 17 of 29, 226, 2 touchdowns, and he carried the ball 9 times for 54 yards. Like, I was literally like, if the Ravens win this game, Kev, our take, whenever we're sitting here, like, what if Tyler Huntley snaps and the Ravens win? Like,
yeah, that's that.
We're this close to sitting here, like, if they don't get the fumble recovery, because they're on the 1. If Tyler Huntley scores that one, like, he rushes it in Lamar style, we're sitting here like, Lamar, you may need to. I mean, your price is a little high. I can get a little cheaper with this guy over here. Like I don't know, Lamar. Like, but now we're back in the same boat. Like, Lamar, we may need you.
Right, no cap. But I looked at this shit like that was just poetic justice for them to do it like that. And Chuba Hubbard being in the perfect place at the perfect time because that ball I feel like literally got thrown into like when it hit the air, it went straight to his hand almost. Like You could have thought a controller was in the motherfucking ball the way it hit his hands. And the boys took it back, and that was the play of the game. And it hit me that was at the 11th minute of the fourth quarter. So, like, you can't say, like, oh, bro, this didn't happen. Like, you guys, they had opportunities to score, and, like, they could have won this game. So that's why I think it's going to be so crazy next week for the Bengals versus the Bills, because it's like, oh, shit, both these teams didn't look at their absolute finest against two teams that didn't have their starting quarterbacks.
Yeah, and then, I mean, they get the fumble touchdown. Ravens get the ball, of course. They go 3 and out. Then the Bengals get the ball. They get 1 first down, then go 3 and out, punt it back. Ravens get a first down and then punting it right back. And then Bengals punt it back. So it was like stagnant again. But then the Ravens get the ball on the last drive after a great punt return. And they get the ball all the way down to Cincinnati 17. They're in the red zone, 30-something seconds left. And, of course, like, the backup fucking offensive lineman, because the Ravens been dealing with O-lineman issues. They get the offensive holding. They go back to the 27, and then, a couple of deep passes later, game's over. But they were moved. Like, that last drive, they were there. They're on the 17-yard line. Like, it was like, that's why I'm saying it's a nail biter, because it was similar to the Dolphins-Bills, where, like, the team that was losing had the ball in their hand for the last couple seconds with the opportunity to score. But unlike the Dolphins, the Bills actually were in the red zone, and I'm just sitting there like, fuck. If Tyler Huntley leads this to overtime, like we're talking a different contract scenario with that boy Lamar.
No cap. If Tyler Huntley scores that ball on scores that touchdown in the 11th minute of the fourth quarter, the way this defense was balling, that a lot of people aren't going to give credit. I don't think this Bengals team wins that game.
Yeah, and like Joe Burrow got sacked 4 times, and this may be like a hint of what's coming. They lost 3 starting offensive tackles, I believe, at this point. So now they're playing a dangerous game, but we saw them overcome it last year. Jamar Chase, that's what everyone's going to talk about. Oh, Jamar Chase had 84 yards and a touchdown, and like he looked good, 9 catches, but like T. Higgins was nowhere to be found. Tyler Boyd was not, like, Joe Burrow only put up 209 passing yards. I think his over-under was like 250, 260. We're gonna need him to cook if he has any chance of this Bengals team to beat the Bills next week.
And this is a team he put up 900 yards against in the regular season last year.
Yeah, like, they got all pro defensive players, but at the same time, they do allow deep shots to happen. And like, they had chances to put the game out, but those last couple, like I said, right after that touchdown from Sam Hubbard, their offense was stagnant after that. So it's not even like they were constantly moving the ball down. Like, the Ravens had a chance to win this game, or at least tie it up after the fumble. They never could. Bengals end up getting the win. They move on. We'll see them against the Bengals. Not the Bengals, against the Bills, which will be a great game. I think they're a 5-point underdog right now, so we'll see closer to when we make the picks.
Hell yeah, but yeah, it's gonna be a good game next week. But I think that's why they're in the same boat. I feel like they both didn't play crazy well, and it's like, are you gonna, now that you got the playoff, the first game of the playoffs out your mind, out the way, like, are you gonna turn up now, or is this the same team that's gonna come out next week? Because both these, but the only difference I think is Josh Allen had more turnovers.
Yeah, because Joe Burrow didn't have any turnover. But Josh Allen had the turnovers, but yeah, he put up more points. Because that's the scary thing about the Bills and shit. It's like, y'all can have turnovers, but they still put up 30. Then our Monday night football game, the Buccaneers getting their ass beat at home by the Cowboys, 31-14. Honestly, I think it was like 24-0 at one point. Cowboys kicker missing, 4 extra point kicks, broke the record.
That's crazy. Because I remember at 3, they say he was the first person since 2000. So I'm like, bro, you're the first person this century to miss 3 extra points. And the first one could have told you he was going to miss that many, because, like, the first one was terrible. It looked like a torpedo got sent out.
And this game pissed me off, but I was so upset because I I had a 3-leg parlay cooked up, and I didn't take it because I was already like, man, I got all this money on all these other bets. Let me just chill out. I didn't know all those other bets were gonna hit. Otherwise, I would have took this one too. But I had Gerald Everett tight end for the Chargers, anytime touchdown scorer, which was like plus 200 by itself. Dalton Schultz to score a touchdown for the Cowboys, which was like plus 175. And this Gesicki to score a touchdown for the fucking Dolphins at plus like 275. And parlay together was like 35-1 plus 3,500. And I was sitting there like, oh, should I just put a little bit on this? Nah, let me chill because I got so many bets in. I wish I would have put that because after all the other Gesicki scored, I was like, fuck, okay, well, maybe the other ones don't score. Okay, then I see Everett score I saw Everett score first, and I was like, okay, that was supposed to happen. Then Gesicki scored, and I was like, fuck, okay, well, maybe the Cowboys shit the bed, and I'm not mad at it. And then I see Dalton Schultz score the first touchdown, and I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? Like that was gonna fucking be it was like 5 to win 100 and something. And I was like, oh, I should just put this in. I didn't put it in. I'm kicking myself in the keister now, but I mean I won on everything else. I can't be upset. But onto the game, Cowboys. I mean, we were scared about them after that Washington performance, but they came out and put all that to rest. They looked great. There was a couple slow drives early in the game where they couldn't get shit going, but then they shrugged that off, came out, scored 31, like 24 consecutive points. Should have been 27, but they missed kicks. Bucks, they were flat all game. I mean, we said it. They're the only team in here that we didn't think deserved to be in there. We felt like the Panthers should have been the team in there for them. They were lucky that J.C. Horn got hurt, and it showed. And it showed bad. Like I don't care if you're blaming Bowles. I don't care if you're blaming Brady. I don't care if you're blaming Leftwich. Leftwich did get fired while we're recording this. He's gone now, or I believe he's gonna get fired. Like heavy things. It's one or the other. He's already fired, or heavy reports that he will be fired. Bowles' job is not safe, and Tom Brady, from everything it sounds like, it's either he's retiring or he's gonna be on a different team next season. So. Not only did they lose the game, but they're in a bad place.
Yeah, they're in a bad place. Kyle Trask next year, man.
Shit. I'm shocked that they draft the QB, to be honest. Like, at this point, they got a first-round pick. It's a late one, but I wouldn't be shocked that they pull a trigger on the QB.
University of Florida, man. It's Kyle Trask for the win. But, yeah, I don't think there's going to be a good quarterback until Manning comes in, so.
Nah, you're tripping. I would say the kid out of North Carolina, Drake May. I haven't seen talent like this since Mahomes, bro. That boy Drake May. He's not in this draft, but next year's draft, he's gonna be the next guy. This is before anyone else is saying it right now. I'm telling you, I was watching this motherfucker. I don't watch college football as heavy as other people. I was watching him play, and he was just doing some impossible shit. People love Caleb Williams, who's in the same draft class. Same way people love Mitch Trubisky, who's in the same draft class.
You said Mitch Trubisky?
Yeah, because Mitch Trubisky went like 1 or 3 or something. Like he went super early. He was the guy out of the college, and then Mahomes went later. And that's where I think Drake May's gonna fall from like 10 to 15, like Mahomes did. And Drake May's gonna be the guy.
Fun fact about that Mahomes draft: Cliff Kingsbury was his coach, and they tell him like, "Yeah, bro, you should come back another year." They talk about not drafting you to like the 4th or 5th round. Like, come back another year, you might be first round. Nigga gets picked in the first round, like he's picked number like 18 or some crazy shit. And he's like, oh, they must have figured out the secret somebody told.
His arm is just too good. Like, I don't know. But that's enough about that. But the Cowboys, we've been saying about other teams, like they're fluky and stuff. But man, do they seem like a team that, like I said it early on. I want to say around like week 5 to 6 time when I said I think the 3 best teams in the NFC is the Cowboys, 49ers, and the Eagles. This is when I think the Vikings were cooking, all that stuff. But I still stand on it. Like when they're playing at their best, there's just no other team that's better than them. Like the Cowboys can put up 30 to 40 with anybody, and they have a great defense led by Parsons in them. So
This defense is electric. I mean, I feel like Brady didn't get sacked too crazy in this game. Well, how many sacks did he give up? Like 3?
I could check real quick. You got sacked twice for 17 yards, but just as a team, they ran the ball 12 times for 52 yards. They stuffed the run game, and Brady had 300 yards, but for the first half, there was all a whole bunch of 3 and outs, and not even 3 and outs, but they will get a couple first downs, but they never really made it. They never made it past the 50-yard line.
Damn.
That's a great defense. Y'all can get a couple yards here and there. Fill up your stat sheet, but you're not making it past this fucking logo.
That's respect. That's respect. That's when you're at your absolute hottest. You're not giving up nothing.
I know Cowboys fans wish the Vikings would have won because they would have been playing the Vikings next week. Instead, they do get the 49ers. So it is that's gonna be the big game next week. Because the Cowboys, if they play like they did this week, I think they give any team run for their money. Yeah, you also got to remember they're 4 points off the board. It should be 35-14, and that 14 is also 8 of those points came in the fourth quarter when no one gave a fuck. It was really 35-0, 35-6.
No rap cap. I do respect his defense because they said they picked up Brady when they threw Brady's first red zone picks is 2019 with the Patriots. So that's pretty interesting. But like you said, man, this Cowboys team can't run it with anybody right now. When they're playing like that, Dan Quinn is on. It's so funny watching these coaches on the sideline. You got Dan Quinn in the booth just looking like he's playing chess. What's the OC's name? That's my dog. I can't remember his name right now.
It's for the Cowboys. It's It's a young Kellen Moore.
Kellen Moore. You got Kellen Moore. I remember watching him play. But Kellen Moore, you got Kellen Moore, OC, and you just got Mike McCarthy looking okay. You feel me? I don't know what exactly. I feel like Mike McCarthy handles the business. He handles the hiring and firing over there.
Yeah, Big Mike's not in charge of a lot.
Yeah, that nigga be killing me. But this Cowboys team looked great. Their defense held it down. So this next week is going to be interesting against the 49ers because that 49ers defense is going to fuck them up. But can their defense force Brock Purdy to make mistakes? Because no defense has done it so far.
Yeah, and Dak played a perfect game. Can he continue to play a perfect game? Because he loves to turn that ball over. He led the league in interceptions, and he didn't even play the full season.
That's crazy. That's how you know he's fucking up at the end of the season. But as well as this kicker, you got to make fucking kicks. There's no way you can just come in and miss anything, let alone 4.
I will say it was windy. It wasn't that windy, but here in Tampa, it was windy that day. It wasn't super windy like Chicago or something, but there was some wind in the sky. He was a great kicker throughout the whole season, and that's what I hate to happen to some people with their jobs is you balled out all year, 17 games now. You have one bad game, and it happens to be in the playoffs, and now your whole job may be gone. Because he was named a Pro Bowl kicker. I'm not sure who would the NFC. I'm not sure who's because they don't have Justin Tucker and they don't have Daniel Carlson. So they don't those are the 2 best kickers in the NFL. They're both AFC kickers. So he could have been the Pro Bowl kicker because there's not too many great ones, and he had a hell of a season at kicker for NFC.
Maybe not better than my dog Matt Gay, but that kicker is straight. I mean, that's something that they actually do got to figure out. But this Cowboys team looks good, and respect to them for sending the Bucs home early this season. And the best ability is availability, Paul. Because remember how I was talking about the dude that worked the the Jaguars game? My boy also worked the Bucs game last week. So now you're not even just doing college. Now you're doing professional football games. And you might have seen Brady's last playoff game, possibly.
And like I said, it's 2 routes for what everything's leading to right now: retirement, or he'll maybe on a new team next season.
Nah, that shit is real life.
But that was it for the divisional playoffs. It was a crazy one. That was wild card weekend. Next week's divisional playoffs. So that was it for the wild card weekend. Catch us divisional playoffs. It's gonna be it's great matchups. None of the spreads are above 7, I believe. So everything's close right now. And as always, this was Paul. Pick on William Concha. I'm joined with Kev, Waterboy Savoy, and this has been Totally Blitz Podcast. And if y'all didn't know, well, now y'all know, motherfucker.
I got a problem with being problematic. Get the light beam on me, ready for electrostatic. Don't you step into this box if you're not batting. Then my gang got tools, you could call them boy crap. Man, this gang got rules, man, you better watch your passes. This ain't not new. And they see some accent, all I say is true. You better stop your capping, lacking really your ass all in